All right, can you guys hear the music? This is a good mix. This is when I would go to trivia. This is like the song that they play at the start of every trivia. So it's pretty great.
Andrew, it's not the same without the flow.
I'll take the hat off.
I'm saying your headbanging's not the same without the flow. There it is.
There's the flow. That's it. That's what we're going for. That's what the fans
Oh, thank you.
Well, Tabitha, thanks for joining me and Andrew on 2 Dink Minimum.
Thank you for having me.
Super fun. I'm glad we came up with a good name, Andrew. I'm psyched about this name. 2 Dink Minimum is working for me. So
it's a good name.
It's
working. I'm hopeful it's maybe more than 2 dinks or 2 drinks for me tonight. So,
no, you told me that you weren't going to be drinking at all.
I know I did. I changed. I had some very good tequila left and some very good margarita.
Craig asked me if I wanted an empty beer so I could just look like I was drinking with you guys.
Well, I think you can do whatever you want there. There is no drinking requirement for 2 Dink Minimum. So, but
it could be a whole new show if I was drinking.
It probably, well, with Jim last week, it definitely turned in. There was a period where I think when Jim hit his 2 drink minimum, that things got a little crazy. So
that was
super fun. But thanks for coming on. You know, Andrew and I were just chatting last week about like who we wanted to have on next, and your name popped up, and we're like, yes, let's get Tabitha on. Let's go. There's some fun stuff that I know you're working on.
Thank you.
And we were just like, yeah, let's have a fun conversation with Tabitha about pickleball and the stuff that you're doing.
Sounds good. I wish there was more I was doing right now, but
I know it's a bummer. But,
we'll get back to it.
Can you give us a little background? I know that you sent over some stuff for us, but like, how did you get started in pickleball? Like, what's the racket skills background? Like, why? How did you get into it now? And where are you with pickleball now?
So I've played tennis forever, all my life, pretty much. My mom was actually the one that got me into pickleball. She had heard of it from her friends down in Florida when I moved back to Duxbury 3 years ago. She was like, oh, we need to play. Let's, find where. And I could not find any place around that had pickleball. I contacted Marshfield Tennis Club, which has that Peter Igo. Andrew, you may have been there down by the water in Grant Rock. Mm-hmm. Great little courts, but then they were just for kids tennis, but they're lined size as a pickleball court. So now they are using them for pickleball. But we found, I finally found Kingston Recreation. So I signed up with my mom and started playing with them. And my mom is 75. She plays 7 days a week, pretty much, even now outside. She was out there today, crazy. So she's got the addiction, and I was lucky enough to go along the ride with her.
Did you say she played outside today?
Today. She's every day this week. Unbelievable.
That was very, very cold. I mean, 30-something degrees. So
they are no joke.
They must not have been playing with any dirt.
At first, she was like, as long as it's... No, they had to switch to the Onyx, which is a little rough, but they're not cracking as much. So, yeah.
So how would you compare your relationship with pickleball to your relationship with tennis? Because obviously, I mean, I think it's 2 different competitive stages, like in my life. So, I mean, right now, I definitely enjoy pickleball more than tennis, but I think it's hard to compare because I was obviously very competitive at tennis at one point. But do you like it more, or do you think it's also hard to kind of put a finger on where it is?
Different, right? It's such a different sport as far as the pickleball is definitely more social for sure. Mm-hmm. But for me, finding pickleball was so amazing to be able to be competitive again, to have tournaments again. that was a huge part for me. And then it just turned more into the social part and the people that I've met through pickleball that made me love it so much more.
Yeah, and I think in tennis too, I never really got along with the people that I was playing up like against. But we talked about it before on this show where like after a tournament, you could be playing somebody in a gold medal match, but then you're going out to the bar with them after and getting dinner and having drinks, and it's interesting that happens in pickleball, but it never would happen in like inter club tennis matches or anything.
For sure. Like I still can think of, my competitors in tennis, and I would never want to go out for a drink. Where in pickleball, it's completely different. And even like the crowds in tennis, like you can't cheer like you can in pickleball. You can't, even trash talking in pickleball for fun on the court, it's totally different.
It is. Do you have a club that you play? Where do you play like most of your play, Tabitha?
Well,
when you were playing, so.
Last winter it was right. I'm not playing right now, but Kingsbury Club, we did kind of a group with Andrew and Chris, and that's where we did most of our weekend play in the winter. In the summer, with Lakeville, with these guys down in Lakeville, outside with them, and last winter too at Lakeville indoor. So
not in Massachusetts, right?
Yeah, Massachusetts.
Matt, where would you put your home indoor club? You're kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I'm a poly pickleball player, I guess. So I'll float anywhere.
Well, you're probably Andover in the summer, right?
North Shore, for the most part, is where I usually play in the wintertime, like up in the Hampton, New Hampshire, or Andover, Massachusetts area. But in the summertime, it's outdoors in Burlington, usually Burlington, Mass. So we got the North Shore, South Shore, Massachusetts thing going on, which I love those tournaments when we like go up against each other in that way. So
we won that first one.
Yeah, you guys won the first one. Yeah.
Well, no, you were on our team.
Oh yeah,
You're talking about a different one.
South thing, yeah, it was like what was that? We played with the Connecticut and New York folks.
Okay, yeah, you were talking about something different then.
Oh yeah. But that's fun, Tabitha. Like it's a good group you guys have down there. It's fun to get the family pickleball-ish kind of family stuff going. As you said, like it's so different than tennis, and I love.
For sure.
It's yeah.
And Jackson's been playing a little bit too now, right? Your son Jackson?
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
That's right. Jackson and his crew have been out there. They are loving. They're hilarious too. This little group of 6 and 7-year-olds that their moms tell me all the time, like they are so excited to play. Like they're like, we can never get them in the car to go anywhere, and we say we're going to pickleball, and they jump in the car and are psyched to go. So it's awesome. We were out there on some 40-ish degree days too, just trying to get the kids out of the house, and yeah, they're loving it too. So I mean, and that's what else is so great about this sport is just people can pick it up all different ages.
What would you say is are the challenges of trying to teach kids that age to play? Like how do you approach it? You're trying to teach younger kids to play, right? Isn't that a big part of what you're trying to do right now?
It's more for right now with these guys. It's more just making it fun, making it, we play pickleball foursquare, we play pickleball baseball, just basically coordination, some fun footwork drills running around, and but pretty much just trying to get them to have fun and just enjoy the sport, not thinking of it like it's something they have to do, but something that they there and do, and just have fun with their friends and learn that hand-eye coordination. And I mean, we get a couple dink rallies and I'm like, yes, if they're making contact with the ball back and forth and controlling it and not just whacking it, that's a big win. Just the fact that their parents are like, oh my gosh, they love this so much. Because this is a group of my, of Jackson's friends. And I'm like, I don't want to push pickleball on you guys. We can do anything else. We can go. They're like, no, they want to play pickleball. They're psyched. So it's a lot of fun.
So do you think that getting kids into it earlier will maybe help, like for obviously Massachusetts, the MIAA, but like getting kids into it earlier and having them kind of learn the game will help get it into high school programs? Because I know that's one thing that they were working on.
I hope so, but Yeah,
No,
for
go ahead.
sure. I mean, just getting people to know the sport, right? Like a lot of people are like, what is pickleball? Even these guys are like, we would have never known what pickleball was unless you know. So just trying to grow the sport as far as getting people to know it and know it, you know, it has such a silly name, right? People are like, what is that? So I think just getting the younger kids into it, obviously not putting it on them so they don't get sick of it. You know, that's the biggest thing, is just let them have fun with it. And, you know, hopefully it's something that they grab onto. I mean, kids are so busy these days, right? With so many different things that are involved in a lot. So just exposing them to it and hoping that they'll grab onto it.
What's the pitch that you give parents to get their kids involved in it? Like, what's the hook?
Oh, goodness. For this group, really, it was just trying to figure out something they can do right now, somewhat socially distanced, still have a good time, have the feeling of being social, being together, but not being right on top of each other. That for this group, so that was what it's about. I'm not teaching outside this group right now. This is just kind of a fun thing for us to do. You know, after this COVID gets better, I would love to do a lot more with the youth and trying to get this all going and get a lot of clubs, you know, a little older kids. You know, this is a tough age. I'd say maybe in a year or two, it'd be that hand-eye coordination will be a little bit better. And so I think, you know, 8 to 10 would be a great ages to start.
Is that
go
something
up from there?
I know you're a PPR certified coach. Is that something that the PPR is helping coaches better, you know, from, you know, learning the game as an older person myself? You know, are there differences in the way that in which the kind of coaching institutions are helping you guys like understand and how to introduce the material to that age group?
You know, PPR haven't seen anything from. I did see that Mark Rennis, he's doing more of a youth program. So I'm going to look into that after this too. I actually was talking to him a little bit about it. So I'm going to definitely look into that more. What's that?
You broke up just a second when you were saying the person's name. Did you say Mark Renson? Is that who you were talking about?
Oh, Mark Renison. Yeah, I was. I had posted something, you know, on Facebook. There's like a instructors forum, pickleball instructors forum, and I had questioned something about when I was teaching these guys. We're looking for fun drills, some more ideas, and he actually popped up and sent me. He's like, "I'm going to send you a private message." That's another thing that's so amazing about this sport, right? Is just you have this access to the pros, and they're reaching out to you. And everyone wants to help and grow this sport. It's amazing. So he was so great and just, you know, sent me a private message with some ideas. And he's like, of course he was like, I do have a program for this, but I want to help you right now and you know, use some ideas. And so it was really cool. But yeah, so right now, like just, they're the only, and then, US Pickleball has like a kids, like drills and stuff that they, you know, you can buy basically, and it shows you. I did buy that. There wasn't a ton in it, but you know, just to get some basic ideas and some little ideas. But I think they are starting to realize like that's how this sport is going to grow, is getting the youth involved.
Yeah. Is that something you were like intentionally wanting to focus on, was kids versus adult, or like where's the mix for you on like your interest of, you know, kids versus adults in instruction?
Yeah. I think in the beginning, you know, obviously in the beginning it was more just when I was learning too, it was just more kind of, and there's not a lot of instructors around. So I had so many beginners that adults wanted. So at first it was so focused on that. And then when my son started showing interest in it, I was like, "Whoa, this would be, you know, such a great thing. And if we can get this in the high schools, in a high school sports program, or, you know, that'd be incredible." And just another whole, you know, people talk about the Olympics someday. And, but I think getting, you know, and like Matt Saccone's comment last week about, you know, pickleball's dead in Massachusetts. How do we get it go? You know, this is all part of it, you know, like I don't think it's dead as far as, you know, the, you know, beginners and older adults starting, and I think that's huge around town. Like you can see it on the courts. Like the courts are full all the time, but maybe at the 4.5, 5.0 plus levels, yes, there's not a lot of that in Massachusetts. But how do we get to that point? Is to get, even get some of the great high school tennis players, get them on the pickleball court, and they're gonna, they'll be up there already kicking our butts sooner than anything.
Yeah, I think they need to offset it so that it's the opposite. So if tennis is a spring sport, they should do it in the fall to give the tennis players the option to do it too, or even in the winter, because you could do it indoors.
Yeah,
indoors,
yeah, that's a great idea. I wonder if they who was the person that Jim was mentioning last week, Andrew, who was interested in like pushing forward the MIA stuff?
I think it was Greg Rhoda.
Greg Rhoda, right? Yeah. I wonder if do you know Tabitha? Do you know Greg at all?
I don't know him. I do remember him posting that he was trying to get in there, but it sounded like last week he didn't unfortunately get very far with that. But that I would totally be interested in jumping on board with him and helping him out and try.
Yeah, same. I would love to coach the high school here in Watertown for sure. I would be interested in doing that.
Yeah.
So to your point, Andrew, I think having it line up directly against tennis is probably not the best way to try to encourage high school people with racket sport skills to.
Because the only concern that I have with it being a high school sport is that it's not, the matches wouldn't be long enough, because you would do 2 out of 3, and I didn't read Greg's full proposal, but if you did 2 out of 3 in doubles, like that takes maybe 45 minutes to an hour at most with skill level players. But if you're introducing it to kids that just want to play a sport in high school, it's how far a team's going to travel. So I wonder if it makes sense to maybe do it where you're doing like a bunch, like 4 or 6 teams meeting up and everybody playing each other or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get more play in, because I couldn't imagine teams wanting to travel for an hour to play for less than an hour.
That's a good point. Well, I don't know, man. Some of my high school games in tennis didn't last that long either. So,
were you winning them or losing them?
A little bit of both.
Or maybe they could add mixed, like have both the women's team and the men's team, and then also have a mixed. That'd be another way.
Yeah,
that's
a good idea.
Add. That'd be cool.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
When in tennis, for me growing up and at least playing competitively in high school, it was mixed doubles wasn't a thing. So
no,
which certainly could be a fun way for some high school kids to have a good time together. Like
find some prom dates.
Yeah, get some setups.
That's funny.
Yeah.
One thing
we
you
have some
mentioned,
people
Tabitha,
watching.
We do.
Chris is on. Jess, Karen, Nancy. Hi, everyone.
And Chris Gorman.
And Chris Gorman. Hello.
One thing I wanted to circle back on that you mentioned was just the how accessible the pros are. I know you were ordering some apparel from Lindsay Newman, and you guys were texting back and forth, and she was like, I think she was it a few days after labor or before? And she was like, I'm on my way to the post office to drop it off now. And she was just messaging you about it. And she's one of the best female players in the world. She had gotten home
like 4 days before. And she's like, yeah, she had just gotten home like 4 days before. And she's like, oh, I'm going to run out to the post office. I was like, you do not need to do that. I don't need that shirt that quick. It's fine. She's like, no, I'm happy to do it. And like, so nice, so funny. And that, again, like what other sport can you just, reach out to these guys? It's so fun. They get right back to you, and cool.
I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of these people turning pro in like the middle of, not the middle of their lives, but later on in their lives, where they are just now being recognized as pro players that everybody knows, and definitely household names in pickleball houses. But I think they have a different appreciation for being accessible and like actually reaching out to their fans, because to them, I think a lot of them don't even think that they're pro. I think they're just going out there and playing, and it doesn't feel real to them yet because it's still on a smaller scale. But I wonder if when it does get to a bigger scale, if it'll be the same once there's more money in it.
Well, Andrew, I'll tell you, with my fan base,
sure.
I'm totally just going to be a regular guy for the rest of my pro career. That's what I'm telling you up front, Andrew. So.
Yeah, I know. You're hard to reach. I wished you a happy new year and you didn't even respond.
I'm sorry, man. Sorry. I had a fun question for you, Tabitha. I posed this one to Andrew. I didn't make him answer it, but I'll throw this one.
I will.
You can both answer it. It says the question was,
Okay.
you can pick any celebrity non-athlete. Who do you pick for your mixed doubles partner?
Celebrity non-athlete?
So you can't pick like, Roger Federer cannot be your partner. So like who of a non-athlete celebrity would be your mixed doubles partner?
Oh gosh.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Jennifer Aniston.
Okay, why?
I'm gonna say Dax Shepard.
Dax Shepard. That's a good one. That's a good pull. Why Dax?
I love him. I just think he's hilarious, and I think we'd have a lot of fun.
Do you think that would be a
who
fun?
did you say, Andrew?
I said Jennifer Aniston.
I'm a little confused by that. You're very young.
She has good hair too, Andrew. She has good hair
she was great on Friends, and I think she'd be a good friend and just a good personality on the court. Nothing more to it.
And you could talk hair.
Yeah, you could talk hair.
That's good.
I know you guys do. Both have great hair. Oh my gosh. Well, so
That
on
would be
that, I have a question for you guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
So if you could pick 4 pickleball pros to quarantine with, to be your quarantine, who would they be?
Quarantine. Oh, I like that. That's a good name. Quarantine.
Wait, Matt, before we get to that, who is your celebrity?
Who'd be my celebrity? I'd probably think before he died, Alex Trebek. Oh wait, mixed doubles, mixed. I don't know, maybe 2020. It could have been Alex Trebek, I guess. So.
Oh, it's 2021 now, actually, so I can't even say that.
All
So.
right.
I don't know. I had to think harder about that. I think, yeah.
I'm already playing with Jennifer Aniston, so you can't.
Yeah, you pulled Jennifer Aniston. I guess I could go Courtney Cox, and we just do the whole Friends thing, and
we can see if Phoebe wants to come. Just make it a whole reunion.
You're not changing yours? Is that what you said, Tabitha? You're not going David Schwimmer?
I'm not changing mine to one of the Friends guys. Yeah,
Matt LeBlanc?
I'm staying with that.
Can't remember the other one. Yep.
All right, so the quarantine.
You were going to ask. Oh, the quarantine.
Yeah, your quarantine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pick 4 people.
Is it two male, 2 female? Okay.
That doesn't matter.
I'd probably play with.
That's the other thing I like about this sport too. Is like you kind of get to know their personalities, right? More than just knowing them as a pro player.
Wait, so is there a pickleball court at the house?
Or it's just hanging out?
There can be. Not the most important. We can do that after. Who would you want to be on your team if you were gonna?
Okay. All right. I think I got 2 of them. I think. But Matt, you go first.
The pros only? Is this the?
No. Yeah.
You can't pick me.
I'll pick Andrew and I pick Andrew and Tabitha. So I'm done.
All right. I think I'm gonna go. I have 3, and I'll come up with a 4th on the fly.
Okay.
So I think my first one is gonna be Jeff Warnick, just because I think he's very, very funny, and I think he'd be fun to just be stuck in a house with. My second one.
He scares me.
my second one, I think, will be same motive. Would be Rob Cassidy. I think he's hilarious.
Yeah,
Have you seen his Jeff Warnick impersonation?
No.
So good.
No, it's Matt. You got to watch it. I'll send it to you.
All right.
And then my third is Steve Deacon because he's Canadian and they're very nice. And then my 4th, Ben Johns because we need a designated driver.
All right. There is no women in that. Was there no woman?
No, germs.
Like Corinne Carr or something.
So many
Sure,
germs.
it's cooties.
Cooties. Yeah, it's a
Cooties and
male
germs.
only house. All right, Matt, who's yours?
Okay,
Mhm.
interesting.
I can probably come off with two. I want Scott Golan and Glenn Lucy to be in a house together. That would be fun. I think that would be a hilarious thing. Seeing those two needle each other would be a blast. And then, I mean, if I get to play with people, then probably Simone, because like I've taken lessons from her before, and it would just be super fun. And she's an awesome personality.
And anyone that's watching can put this in the comments too. Chris, let's hear yours.
Yeah, what do you got, Chris? Other people, who do you play with in your quarantine? Who do you have, Tabitha?
All right. Well, we're not saying playing, right? We're just saying like fun people to be around. Well, or either. I'd play with that. I'd be psyched to play with any of these people. I would say, I think Arena would want to be. She's pretty hilarious.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good pick.
That's a good one.
Great pick.
Yep. I would say she'd have to be in. I think the Newmans. I think both they're pretty funny. Like I don't know if you're on their Instagram at all, but they're always putting stuff about their brothers and sisters and goofing around and stuff. So I think they'd be pretty fun. Do I have to pick different than you guys? Am I allowed to pick someone that you did?
No, you can.
Okay. I think Ben would be. I think Stick Tricks team would be pretty funny. I think they'd be all kind of fun to be around. I think I may have said 5.
Your house is full. Rent's cheaper though.
That is true.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's funny that you mentioned Jeff Warnick, because I was going to say for the future, Jeff Warnick would be one that I would throw into somewhere just to mix things up. He scares me.
In the future, Matt, we should do a snake draft where we would draft our quarantines.
I like that.
Yeah. We'll brainstorm behind
Chris
the scenes.
says Deacon, Matt, and Lucy, and Ben. Oh, Matt and Lucy would be fun too. That's a good call.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's definitely the case. Like, it is weird to know the personalities of the people who are playing this from Pickleball Forum, from YouTube videos. It's like, I don't know anything about any tennis pros, like other than Marshall. So
I don't know. I don't know that everybody's person. Well, I guess if you take in social media and all that stuff, but I don't know if my personality on court is very reflective of how I am off the court. But I guess because we hang out after and all that stuff, you guys know my personality. But I wonder if I would be in anybody's draft.
I think you'd be like, who's the most serious person in the pickleball court? Oh, it's Andrew. I want Andrew.
But then when he doesn't have a pickleball on the paddle, who's the most fun? I think it's also me.
It's also
I'm drafting
Andrew.
myself. It's just a house of one. It's just me.
The house of Andrew. The house that Andrew.
House of Andrew. I like it. All right, so now if you were going to pick 4 people that you could play with, if you have a pickleball court, who would it be?
I'll do 2 men, 2 women. So I'll go Ben Johns, Kyle Yates, Simone, and Lucy.
Good picks. Yeah, I think I would probably go similar. I want to play with or against Riley Newman. That'd be fun. Like I love the defense that he puts out there. So that would be a fun thing to do. I played against Kyle. That was fun. So
you played against where?
In Florida. Like I took lessons when I learned how to play. I'd been playing for I don't know, like maybe 3 months or something with like a bunch of 70 and 80-year-olds in Belmont. And I was like, this sport's way too much fucking fun. I got to learn how to play this. And so there was a clinic that like a week-long pickleball clinic that they ran in Naples. And so I was like, wait a minute. So I can pay money to play with the best players in the world for like $500, yes, let's go. And so it was just, a small group. It was maybe 18 people, 20 people or something. And then they broke everyone up by like abilities. And,
So that's why you're on Kyle's court?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It was fun. I mean, I have a decent serve for pickleball, and it was fun. Kyle, he's just like, look, man, we come out and like rip a couple of serves at me, and I just want to like learn how to hit someone else's hard serve. And so I just got on the court with him, and for like 20 minutes, fucking hit, serves at Kyle Yates for 20 minutes or something, which was pretty fun.
So, did you say the other three? You said Simone, Kyle.
I play Simone, Kyle, Riley. I'd play with, or against anyone. And Ben. I mean, yeah, Ben. Why not?
What's your style of that?
Dave, play against the Badger. I'd love to play against the Badger because he's almost age appropriate for me. So,
are you older? You're younger, right?
I think I'm like 5 years younger than he is or something. So
okay, yeah, because he just went senior, but he sometimes plays both.
Yeah, so I feel like
pro and then senior mixer.
Age appropriate skill level, maybe I would have fun, like, because all those other guys are too young, man. So,
what about you, Tabitha?
I would say, who I'm loving these days is Callie. I would like to play with her. I think she's awesome these days. I would say, Anna Lee.
Yep, that's a good one.
Sure. And I would say the Newmans. I like those backhands. I want to learn those backhands.
Do you hit with a two-handed backhand or you hit with one hand?
I have converted to two hands. Not dinking.
Do they both?
I've converted. What's that?
Do they both hit two-handed dinks?
I think so. I know that Lindsay is too these days.
Yeah, and Riley's too as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tabitha, is there anyone, I guess now or when you first started playing, like you watch all these YouTube videos, is there anyone that you've sort of tried to take some things and model your game after and kind of make them your own? Or who would you say is like your greatest like inspiration of like you've seen them do things on the court and you kind of want to replicate them?
Oh, that's so hard. I think I kind of take from people. Like these, I'm loving watching Callie right now because of her footwork, because I've really been trying to work on my footwork. I mean, Annalie's backhand rip is ridiculous. And I mean, Simone's, just her balance is crazy. I feel like her balance she gets so low on so many of those when she's up at the line. Yeah, I would say it's not just one person. I think,
yeah, that's probably a loaded question. It's kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Well, when Chris and I went to Green Valley last year, I was just watching Aspen reset the entire time, and that's what I've been working on since. But you like see something, you're like, okay, I want to learn how to do that, and then you just kind of get addicted to trying to figure out how to do it. Did you when you started playing, did you watch, like, I know I spent a ton of time watching YouTube videos and I ended up just running out of videos to watch, but I mean there just wasn't
every
much
night.
Yeah,
for sure. Like every night. It's funny. I felt like, that was my like bedtime entertainment, watching, like falling asleep watching, pickleball videos. But it's funny when I had to stop in March, or maybe I played a little bit longer. March stopped really in April, for a couple months before outdoor really started up again. I actually stopped watching anything because it just bummed me out, the whole quarantine started, it was like I couldn't even watch it because it just bummed me out that I couldn't be out there. So I just kind of, and I'm watching a little bit now, but not as much for sure. I think I get like jealous, watching. Oh, I want to play so bad.
I know for me, when Matt started filming, I had never really watched myself play tennis, but watching myself play pickleball has definitely helped sort of like I'll hit a shot in a video and I'm like, why did you even just try that? But did you ever watch yourself play tennis, or was pickleball, because I know we filmed a few times that we've played, but was pickleball like really the first time that you saw yourself actually play a sport?
For sure. Yeah, no. Because of watching a couple times that Chris videoed us and some of Matt's stuff, I actually, for Christmas, I got a camera and a tripod, and so I can start, learning more, because I feel like you learn so much watching yourself and what you're doing wrong, where you think you're doing right or you're not, you just see so much, for sure. And yeah, tennis, never, right? I never, watch myself. The other funny thing I think of tennis, sorry to get off base a little bit, but is the nerves. Like, I don't ever remember having nerves playing tennis, going out for tournaments, ever. But pickleball, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better. I think, Matt, the first time I played you in a tournament, you were playing with Jen. It was my first 4-5 tournament with Chris. I was a mess. I was so nervous, and I never had that in tennis.
I lost that game, I think, so that's all right. I was so nervous.
You what?
Too.
You what?
I think I've before that.
Okay.
So. It sucks, man. I go to the bathroom like 3 times before I go out there on the court. I'm like, how do I already have to pee again? I don't understand this. So the nerves suck.
So you know what? I forget. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go.
No, just going back to the nerve thing. I forget what book it was. Oh no, it was a TED Talk, and I forget who it was, but it was talking about nerves, and they were saying that if you ask a professional athlete if they're nervous before a big game, can be Super Bowl, whatever, big game, are you like, no, I'm excited. And they were saying in the TED Talk, it's really the same feeling of being nervous and excited. It's kind of the same feeling that you have inside. So instead of going out there and being like, I'm nervous, trying to switch your brain and saying I'm excited instead can kind of calm that nerves and just turn the nerves into more of an excited and give you that different adrenaline kind of rush. I think it's helped.
That's really interesting.
I'm gonna have to steal that from you.
So do you think that it's more?
I think that was cool.
You said it where in tennis I was never nervous in high school, college. I never was about to serve and thought I would miss. Do you think it's because we're still relatively new to the sport, and I've only been playing a little over 2 years now, but do you think it's because we just don't have that confidence in ourselves yet, because we're still it's still new to us? Do you think that our tennis backgrounds, in high school or college, having played for so long, we're like, no, I know how to do this, I know how to sleep,
Right. Yeah, I mean, for me, or I don't know if it's, you're half my age, but I don't know if it was because I was young and I didn't know better, I was like, or if it's because I've been out of the competitive side for so long. But it's definitely different for sure. Andrew, I just have to comment on you just looking like it's just your head, and it's like you're on a green screen and it's just your head popping it.
Tell me that it's even better. That is so good right now.
Andrew.
I am outside. I thought it was going to be too cold, but it's nice. What did you say, Matt?
I said it's crazy how dark it is wherever you are.
Well, there's a fire going on over there.
I see.
I'm not over there. And there's a dog over here. Hold on.
I know you want to go in.
That dog chill.
First dog ever to be on the pod.
That's true. Man, I'm so excited to start playing again, though. I really hope this stuff's. I have to make a decision within the next 15 days as to whether or not I'm going to go to the U.S. Open or not. So, but both my partners, I had 2 female partners, and both of them have injuries and medical stuff going on. So I would have to find 2 new partners too. So,
Wait,
unlike,
are you still playing? Like, would you still be playing with the same men's partner?
yeah, Rudy Meredith. So I would still play with Rudy, but
Oh, nice.
yeah, which is fun. I love playing with Rudy, man. He's so much fun. You talk about like good chemistry and partnership, and like that dude. Just I like playing with him a lot. So,
well, I'm still going. So if you want to play mixed together,
I will play mixed with you, Andrew. Keep growing that hair out.
Who's wearing the skirt?
Both of us.
right now we're at the Open.
Yeah. Currently?
I know you are right now.
What else did I have written down? Oh, here's one. Was your style of play in pickleball similar to how you played in tennis?
Oh gosh, no. I was like the ultimate tennis player coming into pickleball, just wanting to kill the ball. And yeah, no. It's funny. In tennis, my backhand was much stronger than my forehand, and that is definitely not the case in pickleball. I wish it was.
Yeah, I actually, when I wrote that down, I was like, I don't really know. I mean, in tennis, I didn't like long points, and I guess in pickleball, I don't really love long points, but I think a lot of my game is maybe similar. But yeah, my backhand in tennis was more steady, but I think my backhand in pickleball is better than my forehand. What about you, Matt? Was your tennis game similar to how you play pickleball?
Well, I relied so much on my serve in tennis to set up points, and I think when I first started to play pickleball, I didn't really. No one said that the serve was important to me, or that it was like, oh, you get it in and then you play it off the third shot. So maybe get it deep. Don't worry about pace too much. And then I think this year in particular, I started focusing way more on like putting a ton of pace on the ball. And that has actually set up so many winners, like 3 or 4 point pickleball points, or rallies. I'm like, with that, and that was my tennis game. It was like serve as big as I could and, hope for like a kind of weak return that I could jump on. And so I think that probably when I started playing pickleball, it certainly was not close to my tennis game, but now I think it is much closer. So.
Were you a doubles or a singles tennis player?
Singles, yeah.
What about you? You were singles too, right, Tabitha?
I was singles and doubles, but I always loved doubles more. For sure. So, I always loved this. I think that's part of why I love pickleball so much is because of the strategy, and I always love that with doubles. And I also always loved mixed doubles tennis more than anything too, and that's the same now. But I definitely feel like now I love a long pickleball rally. I love a long dink rally, and fast, slow, reset. That where in tennis that would never have not at all, right?
No.
I wonder if singles in pickleball will ever grow, or if it's going to be primarily, because obviously in professional tennis, I mean, singles is what everybody knows, like Roger Federer, Nadal. But then like for pickleball, it's the complete opposite. Like I feel like there's not a lot of people playing singles anyway because it's not fun for me. But I don't know. I wonder if the sport grows, if singles will ever take over doubles.
I don't.
Or do you think?
Yeah, it's funny because
Go ahead.
I don't honestly. I hardly even watch singles pickleball, like in the tournaments and stuff. It doesn't that really interests me. I just love watching, like I said, the doubles, the strategy, and so I don't know. They talk about doing more like skinny singles tournaments and stuff too, but I have no interest in it.
Yeah, I used to compare, like, when some of my tennis players would be like, oh, like, what would you compare? Like, why pickleball? And I'm like, well, I think pickleball is chess, and tennis is more checkers. Like, with pickleball, you're strategizing a lot more. And I think that sort of also kind of holds true under the pickleball umbrella, where doubles pickleball is chess and singles is checkers. And I think that's why it appeals to me more, is just the more strategic aspect of it. And obviously you have Ben and Tyson playing chess the entire time, but for me it's the strategy and
Right.
in developing the point and setting up the next shot. That in tennis it was like, yeah, you can kind of do that, but it's not as malicious, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
Well, like
dirty.
I tell him all the time, like I feel like my responsibility is setting him up. Like I'm setting up the point so he can finish it, you know? I just feel like there's so much of that, like setting it up and working the point, trying to get to end up where you want it to be.
It's starting to rain. So I'm gonna go. It's starting to rain.
I'm
so
like,
I'm gonna
what
go
are
inside.
you looking at?
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Okay. Matt, you were out there with your daughter, right? Didn't you have her out there on the court a little bit?
I did. I tried to get her into playing. She's just so into basketball and playing basketball or flag football, and I've tried so many times to get her to play. She's just like, Daddy, this is boring. Like, I don't want to play this. And I'm like, well, and I played once. We played. She wants to play games. That's the problem. Like, she doesn't want to get out there and do what you were doing with, your son, like the younger kids, of like learning how to kind of hit the ball. And she's just like, I want to play. I want to get out there. And so when we go to the retirement homes where my parents live in Florida, she has a fun time because like she can actually compete against the, the 75-year-olds. But she just gets so frustrated if, she misses the ball, or I'm like, look, Harper, you've played this thing like 3 times in your life. How are you expected to be good at this? And, and she actually is good at it. She has great hand-eye coordination. She can hit the ball deep. She can hit the ball hard. And I'm like, let's go. Let's have some fun. And it's not in her wheelhouse to do it. And I'm like, come on, man, I could have a mixed doubles partner in like 4 years. I want to play in tournaments and stuff, Hopefully that'll change.
I wonder, has she ever seen like Annalie play or any of the younger kids that are, has she seen them play at all? Like, does that give her any fire?
Not really. Also, like, she's a peanut, man. Like, she's about this tall and, is the same age that Annalie was when Annalie was ripping up the court. So, like, she's 4 foot nothing, and Annalie was out there at 5'6" or 7" or something ridiculous at, 12 years old. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm still holding out some hope that she'll play with me when she gets a little older, because it's fun, man. Like, I taught my wife how to play. She had no racket skills background. Just got out there, and we have a court that's a mile from our house, so I'd get out there and drill with her every morning. And I was like, "You got to learn how to play this. It's social. It's so much fun." And she got frustrated too. So it's like the competitiveness that is in our household is a bit of a restrictor plate in the enjoyment that people can have. So I don't know. I'm hopeful that I can get my family to play, because it's such a great game to be able to play with your kids, and like I could play for 40 more years with my kids. So there's not a lot of things that you can do like in life that are physical. So
right, for sure. I'll go out with my mom and her friends and play. We have a blast.
Yeah, that's great. And you said your mom's in her 70s?
75, yeah.
That's so cool. And you said she's playing every day? That's amazing.
She plays pretty much every day. It's unbelievable. Yeah. And in the 30s, she's out there.
How do you think that it has impacted her physically, emotionally, socially as like an aging adult?
Oh my gosh, huge. I mean, in the winter, it cracks me up because she was playing. She'd play paddle tennis like twice a week, but that was like the only thing she'd go out and do in the winter. Like we were all skiers. She didn't care for that or being outside in the cold unless she was on the paddle court, and then she was okay. But this winter mostly, I think she was really worried about not playing inside. She's playing a little bit inside, but not a lot. Her group, thankfully, is they're really happy about wanting to play outside. Even now in the cold, they'll get all up and they'll check in with each other. We're supposed to be there at 9. It's going to be a little cold still. Let's try 10 or 10:30 instead, and they'll still go out there. Or they'll go in the afternoon. But I mean, just the social aspect of this sport is amazing. She has so many people that she would have never known if she didn't start playing, pickleball. And great, she has amazing, fun relationships with them. They're dropping food off to each other's houses and, checking in on each other. And it's great. It's been for so many different reasons, such a blessing to have this sport, Yeah.
Do you think that's a male-female thing in pickleball? Like, about the checking in or one of the things that I think is super great about when I met you and Andrew and Chris is like it, especially with Andrew and Chris being younger players as compared to like the other people in Starland or Lakeville for the most part, like the kind of embracing and the connectedness and, Andrew and Chris being pulled in and checking on people. Like do you see a difference between men and women in that in pickleball, or is it your community like, look, we're all, regardless of who we are, we're all checking in on each other?
That's what I love just about the groups we play with. I mean, we have one of my favorite pictures is from our Lakeville crew. Was it last year, maybe at one of our little fun tournaments we did. And, at this picnic table, we have an 80-year-old down to like a 22-year-old, and we're all there together having a blast, That to me has been the best part of this sport, and my relationship with Andrew and Chris. I mean, they've slept over my parents' house, like we go to grandma's house and hang out by the pool and, like after we play or go there for lunch or, that's huge. My son, Andrew and Chris are like his big brothers. Like he loves them. Andrew, Jeff, Christmas in his stocking, and he was like, Andrew would love this game.
Wait, what was the game?
It was called Farts. It's a card game. It's called Farts. And he's like, yeah. He was the first thing he's like, Andrew would love this game.
Yeah, no, Jackson's like the little brother I never had.
That's great.
It's awesome.
Between the group that you guys have on the North Shore and the group that we have on the South Shore and the North Shore, like it's more heterogeneous in terms of gender and men and women, where like a part that I miss about when I met you guys, I was like, holy shit, you guys like socialize after you play, and there's like a community of pickleball people, and that's just not something that we have really on the North Shore in that way. And I'm wondering how much of that is like it's just me and a whole bunch of other dudes, except for Christy, for the most part. It's just like a whole bunch of 50-year-old white dudes hanging out together. And
I think a lot of it for us is the Lakeville group that Kim Mitchell and her dad Bob Hall put together. It's so diverse in skill level, age, and it's not just like you're talking about a group that's all 4 or 5 plus, and there's like maybe 6 of you, where we have a group of like Lakeville players. Like we, in the beginning of quarantine, we were doing Zoom calls on like the Wednesday night advanced nights that we used to have. We would just do Zoom calls when we couldn't play, and there was like probably 10 to 15 of us on the call, and I think it's just having that diverse group and like somebody like Kim and Bob doing, just putting it together, and they kind of just become like family.
Yep.
And it's great, but you're more than welcome to come to Lakeville anytime you want to drive over an hour.
Come to Lakeville.
No, it just wasn't so far away.
We're worth like it, Matt. We are worth it.
I totally know you're worth it. But like that first time that I came down to Starland and I hung out with you guys at the bar and restaurant upstairs, I was like, oh, this is a different thing. there's pickleball, and then there's like the things that happen outside of it. And it was very clear that the group that you guys had built and put together and are participating in had a different thing going on. Than like I love playing with the people that I play with. It's just not that level of connectedness. And that's part of what you were talking about, Tabitha, with your mom, of like the social component and the way in which people's lives become more intertwined with one another through the sport. But the sport is kind of a vehicle to be able to get to that is what's kind of neat. But it's hard. It's hard to build those communities, I think, or you need those people like Bob and whoever
Kim.
and Kim to kind of pull those threads all together.
Well, Matt, whenever we play, if you just say, hey, Andrew, you want to get a beer? I'll be there.
Great.
So let's make that a thing.
I think we should. I think that's my new 2020 or 2021 resolution. Like when pickleball boots back up, that it's not just like, let's go play for 3 hours and then go home. It's let's go play for 3 hours and then like hang out afterward.
Honestly,
well, that's the best kind of beer.
That is one of the things that I miss. That is one of the things I miss the most about, not playing with our crew is, going out after for lunch or for dinner, it's my husband and my son know on those days, like I'm going to go play pickleball for 3 hours and then go out for another couple, and just hang out. A lot of times they'll come and join us too. Like they'll come and meet us after and stuff, but they know it's like a 5-6 hour ordeal, which is great because I didn't have I haven't had that in so long. Like before pickleball, when else not having any other kind of having pickleball, that's just changed so much, like socially too.
Exactly. Chris, the Kingsbury Club in Medfield is about.
Chris is asking how far.
Yeah, it's about 40 minutes from me. So 40,
they have
45.
a bar there.
Do they really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Ah, right.
Yeah, it's my favorite place to play. But I haven't played at Pickles yet, so right now, asterisk.
What's the guy?
Yeah.
You were saying this, Andrew. Tell me about the pickles thing, Tabitha, because I'm intrigued.
I don't know a whole lot. You guys need to. Have you reached out to them, Andrew? I mentioned it to Andrew. Like,
not yet. I'm gonna reach out.
Get them on for a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to them probably this week with the holidays and stuff. I was like, I'll reach out, but I definitely want to get them on and just kind of pick their brains and talk about it because I think it's a good opportunity to have them promote it and then for us to get free court time.
For sure.
Exactly.
Well, no, and we need to hear it coming from them. I've heard a couple rumors that I'm not psyched about, some things that I've heard. So I would love to hear, coming from what their plan is, like as far as if there's like a membership or is it, I have envisions of how I would hope it to be. And from what I've heard, it's not quite that. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to hear what they say. It'd be nice to hear, how they plan on running it. And
yeah, I'll message them this week, Matt, and we'll see if they can come on in the next couple of weeks because they're planning for a spring opening, right?
Love it.
Yeah.
I wait. That place, the Kingsbury Club. If there's more places like that, I cannot wait. So,
well, yeah, that's awesome. It's just like, and I think that helps, to your point, Matt, kind of build into the community aspect of it, where if you have a place to socialize after, and you don't have to drive 20 minutes to a restaurant or like, oh, you're going there, but that's 20 minutes in the opposite direction of my house. Like if you're playing pickleball and you have that place to go hang out after, I think you'll end up having that where we'll go with Ron and Christy and go get a drink upstairs. Because you remember when we played at where did we play? Situate Yacht Club, and Christy we were just taking shots with her, which I was like, oh, okay.
I was like, holy crap! You brought a whole thing of Fireball, like the little tub of Fireball. I was like, Christy knows how to. This will be good. That's fun.
But then didn't she get in trouble the next day and wasn't able to play?
Yes.
I
get a text at 3 a.m. saying, can you fill in for me? And I woke up after getting home at like 1 a.m. I drove an hour and a half to play in Andover. So needless to say, I didn't play well.
You paid for it.
Yeah, I paid for it.
That was rough. Speaking of sponsorship stuff, Tabitha, like how did you go about? Andrew mentioned that like you've got some sponsorships with like Jigsaw or like other folks. Like how does that work? Like how do Andrew? What I'm really asking is how do Andrew and I get sponsorships? Is the real question. But tell me more about the sponsorships.
A lot of it is being at the right place at the right time, I think. But then once you get one, I think they see you promoting to you too. Actually, kind of a cool story. The free sleeve. Do you know what those are, Matt? I know Andrew does. So it's basically it's cold therapy. So it's a sleeve that you can put on, but it goes over your knee. It goes over that you put in your freezer. It goes over your elbow, whatever. And I had started using them, and I have actually ended up. I think I contacted them for size in question or something, and the director of marketing actually ended up emailing me, and he's like, "So you play pickleball? We've been wanting to get into that market. Like, tell me about pickleball and how could we get into that market?" And so I ended up, just giving him the names of like all the pros, and I was like, I don't know how their sponsorships work. I said, another, Jigsaw is amazing at marketing, and working with these pickleball pros. So like, check out their stuff and see. So it's been cool because I've seen a couple. Like Jesse, I've seen promote free sleeves now, and I saw someone else recently. But some of it's just being at the right place at the right time.
Wait, so
but
Jesse Irvine is
Irvin, yeah.
So
she was promoting free sleeve, like she did like an Instagram.
Because of you.
What?
Because you did you put them in contact with her?
Not directly. Yeah, I just gave them a bunch of names that
I'm taking credit for you and saying that you're the reason.
Oh, Andrew, see, this is why you're one of my best friends. And then for Kitch pickleball, that was super lucky. What's that?
Sorry, there's a little bit of a time lag. I had interrupted you initially, and then I was saying that I didn't want you to get off topic because you were going to start talking about Kitch.
Oh, Kitch. And then Kitch, another thing that was just, kind of one of those things that they just asked to, give them some information about yourself and what you do. And I was lucky enough to be, picked to be on their team. So, and that was fun because Andrew reached out to me because I had heard about it. They reached out to me in like October of 19 and said, okay, we'd really like you to be on the team and we're going to start sending you stuff. And I was like, okay, but I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it kind of a thing. And then I didn't hear from them or anything. And then like in February or something, I finally got something. And then Andrew texted me and he's like, did you know that you're on this website? Because he happened to go on. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was looking at clothes on like just pickleball, like apparel. And I was on the website and it was like this Kitch company that I had seen blowing up. And I went to like, oh, who's on Team Kitch? And I'm scrolling down and I see a picture of Tabitha. And I think Jackson's in the picture with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I texted her and I was like, do you know you're sponsored by these people? And she was like, yeah. I just I didn't want to tell anybody until it became official, but I guess it's official now. And it was just so funny.
Like, I didn't want you to find out that way. That's so weird. But I didn't want to say anything until, there it is. Until I knew for sure. But yeah, so I've been. Yeah. So if you.
Oh, you know what? I like this because it's not garish. There's like so much pickleball apparel that is like all puns and
pickle on it,
like pickles.
The name of our show is 2 Dink Minimum.
Listen, I'm on board with puns. I just don't want them on my t-shirts. I want to wear my clothing that looks good. I can say them out loud and then be embarrassed in the moment when it comes out of my mouth, but I do not need to have it on my clothing. So yeah, this is cool, man. I like this stuff. Good.
So go to Team Kitch.
So
that's nice. I like this. Team Kitch. Let's see.
I'm all the way on the bottom, just a little peanut on the end.
Here she is.
See, there you go. That's good. I like that. So, what do they send you some free apparel, and you talk about them, and
yeah, they send me free apparel. You know, in your contract, they asked you to kind of rep them by going on social media like once a week, or nowadays, you know, with not playing, I'm not doing it as much, just because I'm not out there as much. But you know, I try to, you know, take a picture with some clothes on and put it on my social media pages. But it's nice. They give me, you know, like a discount code.
If you've got clothes on, that's probably a better proposition for them.
Well,
so,
I have my Kitsch sweatshirt on here.
Oh, look at you. Repping the brand right on. You didn't even, you pulled that out finally at the end. There you go.
Yeah. And then
this stuff, what about this? Does this actually work? I feel like I don't know if I want to try this or not.
All right. So the pickleball cocktail, for me personally, it was way too sweet. Because that's in the morning, and my parents actually tried it and they actually liked it, because my mom drinks like, you know, orange juice every morning. So she's like, it's just like having my orange juice every morning. And then they actually tried the Mag Soothe too, the nighttime one. My dad gets bad cramps and he seemed to like that. But I do like the Electrolyte Supreme, actually, and that's why I really started drinking to rep them more. Because it's like there's sugar compared to some of the other ones. Because I used to like Liquid IV. I used to really like that. I definitely like this berry. The Berrylicious is my favorite versus the lemon lime. The lemon lime you can taste, to me, like some of the vitamins and stuff, but the Berrylicious is really good. And I have liked using those with these products, the Electrolyte Supreme. But I have to, I haven't really used the other stuff.
It's so weird seeing people be sponsored and be so, I don't know, it's not overt, but it's like, it's a weird moment for the sport for sure, related to sponsorship stuff. Because it's like, you know, how authentically are you repping the thing that you're actually, or like, you know, how many times do I need to see someone post on Pickleball Forum about Jigsaw or about, you know, the free, you know, paddle that they got? It's such a weird, I don't know. It's a weird moment for it, because it's like, I would rather those people just get paid more to play, and then they're not having to like, you kind of rep these brands that, like, maybe it works really well for them, but I guess I'm never getting a Jigsaw or a Kitsch sponsorship, I guess. But you know, for me, it's like, I just want to know if there's a good separation between like, what is your contract for this kind of look like versus like how authentically you are repping the thing. And then like the way that you just kind of talked about the two of them, it's very authentic, but there's just so much of this happening right now in pickleball. That's like,
I think that kind of transcends into other sports though too, because Roger Federer is like the most highly endorsed athlete in sports, and that's an old stat. I don't know if it's still true, but like he's got Rolex, Mercedes,
no doubt,
Credit Suisse, and then like Swiss Airlines, and it's like you have an airline company sponsoring Roger Federer. Like, how many tennis players are like between like JetBlue and Swiss Airlines, and they're like, oh, Federer allegedly flies Swiss Airlines, so I'm going to go him. Like, I think it's these companies trying to like kind of merge into the pickleball scene, and it's like, how do we do that? And I think it's so young that they need to like just have these players overly and like blatantly endorse their companies to try to make them known. And I think Jigsaw is the perfect example of that. They have they have like a stranglehold on all of the top pros that are sponsored. Chris says Swiss chocolates too. Isn't that just a type of chocolate? He's just sponsored by all chocolate.
all Swiss chocolates. Roger Federer represents all Swiss chocolates.
Swiss cheese, Swiss chocolate. He's got all
chocolate, Swiss cheese. And what other things are Swiss? I don't even know. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Man.
But it is like a weird moment with it for sure. Of like this. I don't know. I just want it to be more. I either want it to be better called out and highlighted as to like what the relationship is versus or like I don't know. It's just a weird moment. I think it's like you said, it's just like this weird early moment for this stuff where it's not like these big brands are lining up to like pay millions of dollars for Kyle Yates to come out and
yeah. I mean, you could give me
1,000
guesses to guess how much Ben or Kyle or Matt and Lucy get paid to represent Jigsaw Health, and I wouldn't get it right. Like I have no idea.
Yeah,
how much money
that's
they're
the thing. But like,
anyway.
Right, and maybe they're getting like $500, and it's like for how much they're promoting the brand. I hope they're getting paid more than that. You know, like I really hope that they're getting a lot more than what, but maybe they're not.
I mean, they're still doing it, so it has to be a handsome offer for them to still go out there and promote it. And it's a good product.
Part of it too. Yeah, I think a lot of it too, they're promoting because I think they get a cut from links that go from, if someone clicks on one of their links, they're going to get a percentage of that sale. Yeah. So that's the, and there's not a lot of money in pickleball, right? So these pros that are, and mostly with COVID right now, they're not a lot of tournaments. They're not teaching as much as they could be normally. So for these products to come in and say, hey, if you promote us and we'll give you, every click that you get to the website and, you get this much, or if you actually buy this, you get this much. And, so they're getting a percentage of what they're selling.
Yeah.
So Tabitha, I guess one of the last questions I wanted to ask, and that kind of sort of like it talks about where pickleball is going and sponsorships and companies are getting involved in it. Where do you see, like, what's your ultimate pickleball goal?
My ultimate pickleball goal. I mean, I just want to get better myself. Like I would love to be able to play in 5-0 and feel comfortable there, and and just. But I just, it's more of like just desire to have that again and to see where you can go and see how much better you can get. That I think is, but it all goes back. I'm just happy to be able to have this sport in my life and to be able to play and to have the social aspect of it. And I mean, that for me is, I think about if I didn't have this, it has added so much to my life socially and mentally and physically. And it, that's the most important part to me. What level I am, not, of course I want to, have a little goal and try to get up to the next level. And, but more than anything, it's just having it in my life and being able to go. I had Jackson. It's like the one thing that I give myself to go out and do and enjoy it and be away from my family, and luckily I have my pickleball family. It's like going to that, and it's fun that we can mix it all together at the same time, but it's the one thing that I've let myself have that time where before pickleball, I was like, I don't need it. But I have totally found, and I think they will agree, it makes me a better mom, makes life, to have that time to myself to go out and do,
Well, I saw Craig on Facebook had promoted that you were coming on to talk to us, and I think that sort of echoes what you said with like, hey, Tabitha, like he's just probably so proud of you and how well you do in tournaments. And he was like, if you don't even know what pickleball is, just listen to Tabitha because she has such an infectious laugh. And I just think it's cool that he's so like behind you and he wants to support you, and it's really cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I am so lucky that they are behind me, and they all, both Jackson and him are, they know what a big part of pickleball is in my life, and so I'm lucky they both support that so much, and they get excited, when they're asking, Jackson saw a little bit of last week with Jim. I was like, remember Jim? Andrew and Matt were asking Jim questions, and I'm Jim this week. And he's like, really? It's funny. Like, I was like, you can watch it tomorrow. It's fun.
It is fun. Well, it's been fun chatting to Tabitha. I know probably soaking up a bunch of your time on a Friday evening. So, but this is great.
I have so much going on, Matt.
Yeah, well, don't we all? But
what else? Anything else before we close, Tabitha, that you want to share, promote? Jim, I've never looked so good, he said.
I didn't know I could do
Frosh,
this.
you
I
were
can
amazing.
show these. Like, I didn't know I could do this. This is great.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, right. I want to know
who Jim's. I want to know who Jim's quarantine would be.
Jim, who would your quarantine be? Like, which pickleball people would be on your quarantine?
It's us three.
If you had to be in a house with 4 people. Where are you, Jim?
I think he has to type. Maybe Jim's had more than 2 dink minimums tonight. So
yeah, Jim finished in a complete bottle of wine this time because he doesn't have to talk.
I know, right? He pulled out the straw this time.
Who?
Oh, thanks, Jim. There you go.
Tabitha, Matt, Andrew
right.
Burdick. There it is.
Yep. That's right.
Good answer.
Why did I get the last name? Is there another Andrew that you think could? Oh, because probably Andrew Ritter, I guess. He can be on the team.
Is Andrew Ritter? He's down in Long Island, right? Is he runs the indoor pickleball facility down there, right? Yep. Yeah,
Pickle and Par.
Yep. This is my goal is to play in. I get this. This is once this whole thing ends. I'm like, I gotta travel to play. That is my goal. It's like play as in many places as possible.
Yes.
Same.
I agree. We have to go on lots of road trips after this.
I've got I have invites from posting. I think I have like 300 pickleball videos up at this point, and on YouTube, and I've got invites to like a crazy number of like private pickleball courts that I'm like, when am I ever going to be in this location? And this is the year that I'm like, I'm going to these places. I have to go this year because like I've been stuck inside the house for so long that this will be the year that I'm like gonna take everyone up on those offers to come and play at their private courts. So
nice.
So Tabitha, anything else you want to mention or ask us, or before we close out the evening?
Oh, gosh, I think I got my 2 things in that I wanted to with you guys, finding out about your quarantines, and
those were good.
I think I'm good.
Those were good. Those are going to be used in future shows for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely going to use those. We're going to steal them. So.
Good.
Yeah, and if anybody in the chat has any suggestions on who we should talk to, I mean, I know we're going to try to talk to the owners of the Pickles place and that stuff, and I have some people in mind too, but if anybody wants to hear a little bit more about anybody, I think we crossed off.
I want to hear from the guy that tried to do the high school thing. I would love to hear more from him.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. We'll reach out to Greg and see if we can get him to talk about getting high school pickleball running. So
yeah, and I know Matt had alluded to it before, like last show, but just kind of like not being able to be social and just trying to learn more about some of the local people that are promoting the sport and trying to grow it. And I think Jim and Tabitha were the 2 perfect guests to kind of have on.
It
is. It's a good start.
Thank you for asking. That's so nice.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Tabitha. And have fun and
thank you,
tell your mom to not get too cold out there playing pickleball over the winter.
I know. So. I think she's on here. I think they were listening. I'll make sure she knows.
Have a good night,
you guys. So fun.
Okay. All right. Bye, Tabitha. Bye, Andrew. We'll see you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. See ya.